It's being siphoned away, day by day, right out from under you. Every single dollar you work hard to save. Poof, it's vanishing.
It's a crime that's so subtle, so sneaky, that most people don't even see it happening until it's way too late. But it does leave clues. You see them every time you go to the grocery store, pay your rent, or fill up your car. There's a mastermind behind all this, and we're gonna find them.
Welcome to Animeconomy. Today, we're not just summarizing a book, we're opening a full-blown case file. Our lead detective, the brilliant Henry Hazlitt. And our key piece of evidence, his classic, The Inflation Crisis, and How to Resolve It. Together, we are going to unmask this silent thief. First, we'll investigate the usual suspects, the ones everyone loves to blame. Then, we'll expose the real culprit. And stick around, because by the end, you'll know the one true way to stop this crime for good. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so every good detective story kicks off with a lineup of the usual suspects, right? And when it comes to the crime of rising prices, boy, do the authorities and the media have a few they love to trot out. Let's take a look at the official story they're selling us.
First up is the classic wage price spiral. You've heard this one before. The story goes something like this. Unions push for higher wages, so companies have to raise their prices. Then, because prices are higher, workers need even higher wages. It's this endless loop. It's a really convenient story, right? Everyone's pointing fingers at everyone else, so nobody's really at fault. But Hazlitt calls BS on that. The hidden truth is simple. A company can't just jack up prices unless you, the customer, actually have more money to pay them. And unions can't just demand crazy wage hikes if it means the company goes broke and everyone loses their jobs. See, these are just symptoms. They're like the getaway car, not the mastermind who planned the whole heist.
All right, suspect number 2, the shortage of goods. Oh man, we hear this one constantly. Supply chain disruptions. And look, sure, if there's a bad harvest, the price of wheat might go up. That makes sense. But that can't explain why everything from cars to coffee gets more expensive all at once. And Hazlitt just demolishes this argument with one simple fact. He points out that while prices were soaring in the US, the country wasn't producing less stuff. It was producing way more, 6 times more in fact. So that whole shortage argument, it just falls apart. Which leads us to the big question. If it's not the companies, not the unions, and not a lack of stuff, then who is the real culprit?
Okay, we've thrown out the decoys. It's time to pull the mask off the real mastermind behind this whole operation. And the answer? It's shockingly simple. But it's also the one thing that the people in power really, really hope you never figure out.
This right here, this is the key to the whole mystery. Hazlitt makes it crystal clear. Rising prices are not inflation. They're just the symptom of inflation. The actual disease, the crime itself, is the increase in the amount of money and credit. Just think about it for a second. What's a price? It's just what you trade your dollars for. So if all the prices are going up, it's not because everything suddenly got more valuable overnight. It's because your dollars got less valuable. And why would that happen? Well, what happens to the value of anything when you suddenly flood the market with it?
So where does all this new money come from? It's not some guy in a basement with a printing press, okay? It's a much slicker 3-step process. Step 1. The government spends way more money than it gets from taxes. We call that deficit spending. Step 2. To fill that giant hole, it sells IOUs. We call them bonds, mostly to big banks. Now here comes step 3, and this is the magic trick. The banks basically create new money out of thin air to buy those bonds. Poof! Brand new digital money appears on their computers, and it gets sent right to the government. This is how the money supply gets blown up, seemingly without any limit.
And what happens when you let this machine run for a few decades? Well, in the period Hazlitt was looking at, between 1939 and 1977, the U.S. money supply went up by an absolutely staggering 1,174%. That is the smoking gun. It's the big, blinking, undeniable reason why prices went through the roof during that exact same time. The thief is no longer in the shadows. We've got him. It's the government and its central bank, systematically and deliberately pumping up the money supply. So now we know who did it. But you might be asking, just how bad can this get? Like, what happens when this silent thief stops being so silent and just decides to rob the place blind? And hey, if you're getting some value out of this investigation, do me a favor and hit that like button and share this. You might just save someone's financial future.
To really understand the horrifying endgame of inflation, we have to go beyond theory. We have to look at a real-world horror story. We're going to jump in a time machine and witness one of the most terrifying economic meltdowns in history, the German hyperinflation of the 1920s.
So how did it start?
Well, like it so often does, a government needed cash for a war but didn't want to raise taxes. So in 1914, Germany cut its currency's tie to gold and just started printing. For a few years, it seemed fine. But then, around 1921, something just broke. People realized the government had no intention of stopping the printing presses, and they lost all faith in the money. Suddenly, prices started shooting up even faster than the new money was being created. And then you get this weird, manic boom in 1922. Sure, everyone had a job, but it was a fake prosperity built on money that was becoming more worthless by the hour. And then, bam, November 1923, the whole thing collapses. It got so bad, you needed 1 trillion of the old paper marks to get just one of the new marks. So, just how much money did they print? Get ready for this. By the end, the German government had printed 92.8 quintillion marks. That is a 92 with 18 zeros after it. I mean, that number is so big, it basically doesn't mean anything. But listen, this is the most chilling part of the whole story. The amount of money went up by billions, but prices went up by trillions. How is that even possible? How can prices rise faster than the money is being printed? It's all about psychology. People completely lost faith. They knew the money was garbage. So the second they thought they'd try to trade it for anything real. Food, clothes, anything. The money became like a hot potato. Nobody wanted to be caught holding it.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, that's bad for cash, but if I just owned stocks, I'd be fine, right? After all, companies own real stuff. Well, let's check the receipts on that. If you look at the real value of German stocks, measured in something solid, like gold, an investment that was worth 100 in 1913 was worth about 6 by the end of 1922. Yeah, the stock market, the so-called safe haven, got almost totally vaporized in real terms. This thing didn't just destroy cash, it destroyed pretty much all paper wealth.
And this is where you see the real tragedy of it all. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It poisons an entire society. It makes people do crazy things. I mean, Germany became this nation of people frantically building factories for things nobody needed, while at the same time people were literally starving. All long-term planning goes out the window. Everyone is just trying to survive, to speculate, to get through the day. It's a total breakdown of the economy, and really of civilization itself.
So, after seeing a nightmare like that, the solution to our own problem with inflation becomes incredibly, painfully obvious. There's no fancy formula, there's no secret policy trick the experts can pull.
It's this simple. The cure for inflation is to stop inflating. That's it. If you're poisoning a patient, the first step is to stop giving them poison. If the problem is creating too much money, then the solution is, well, you get it. Stop creating so much money.
So what does that actually look like? It means the government has to stop spending money it doesn't have. It means cutting the reckless spending that causes all those deficits. It means the central bank has to stop printing cheap money to cover up the mess. And ultimately, it means we need a sound money system, one that can't be so easily messed with by politicians who are just thinking about the next election. The plan is simple. The only thing we're missing is the courage to actually do it.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? Because this isn't just about economics. It's not just policy. At its core, Hazlitt shows us that the decision to print money or not is a moral choice.
And you know, this isn't some new problem. Hazlitt quotes Adam Smith from way back in 1776 to show that this is a timeless temptation for governments. They run up huge debts, and instead of doing the hard thing and paying them back honestly, they pull what Smith called a juggling trick. They just devalue the money and pay you back with cheaper dollars. It's basically a hidden default. It's a scam played on every single person who worked hard, saved their money, and trusted their government. So that leaves us with one final, and I think really profound question. This policy of inflation, it gives us the illusion of an easy fix today. It lets governments spend money without having to tax us directly. It lets them promise us the world without asking for any sacrifice. It's a short-term comfort, but we know the price. The price is our savings being eroded, our economy getting twisted out of shape, and even a decay in our morality. So the question for you is that trade-off worth it? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me on this investigation.
If you want to keep digging deeper like this, make sure you subscribe to Animeconomy. Here, we turn these huge topics, economics, politics, power, into clear, visual stories so you can see what's really going on. And hey, if you want to go straight to the source, you can grab The Inflation Crisis using the link in the description. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.